Joanna, we hope that you did enjoy that segment from the studios of 3FM 92.7 and the editorial of Johnny Hughes, Johnny's Bite. You can get an upload of this on 3FM 92.7 across social media. Now that you've joined us, we're also grateful that you've made your presence felt. As always, make sure you share the stream. Let's have some great conversations thereof. And today, we know that it's just a day to organize Labour's position on what they want the president to do, declare state of emergency, that ally also, that permits the intrusion into the various forests or vegetative areas we have in our country for exploration, mining, or whatever we want to call it. And then subsequently ask the question, well, are we going to see something being done or a position being taken by the president in relation to what the demands of organized labor are within the next 24 hours to avert this sort of strike? But the latest also at the organized labor front, where we have the Ghana Medical Association rightly saying that for reasons for humanitarian purposes, they want to abstain from the strike. However, a member then challenging the president's decision to issue that statement that was not taken in good order. Well, that said, as you share the stream, let's tell you that it is cash out time. Goes with the short code *439#. Make sure that you also choose option 2, TV3, and then increase the number of stakes that you have. And then we'll have some great time. Good morning to you, Mani Nimani, Chief Maintainer, Kosombo, Kwesi Mensah, who has joined us, Obatampa, and then Obrin Ponkaba. All of you, Imelda Nassar, please make sure you share the stream. Sherry Giovanni, and let's have some great time. I have here with me Michael Safo Kantanka. Good morning to you, Michael.
Good morning,
Safo Kantanka.
Yeah.
It's the first time hosting you. Great to have you as well.
Thank you, Roland.
And then also, yes, sir. And then former member of parliament for Myong, Mohammed Abdulaziz, is right here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland.
I hope everything is fine. It's been a while.
Good to see you again.
All right. So we'll be talking about all these, but let's begin with a certain prelude.
Bosomodo, a rural farming community in the Shama district of the Western region, faces severe water crisis. With a population of approximately 500, residents rely heavily on the polluted Pra River despite its contamination from upstream illegal mining activities. It is 6:30 a.m. here at Bosomodo. School-going children are collecting water from the polluted river for their families and personal use, including bathing for school. Teachers also depend on the river for daily activities, but they decide to wait for 2 days or more for the water to settle due to high turbidity levels. The teachers say it is a daily struggle to access clean potable water.
Our water here is very bad because here we are just close to the Pra, which is at the back of the school. So due to that, we don't have any source of water here. We only depend on that water.
The water, when the children are being taken, the water is very pathetic because we learned that the water is very popular. It has been poisoned by chemicals. And then when the children take it, me, I'm a mother, I feel it. I feel it for them. So we, the teachers, we are trying to get our water, like the pure water, and then we have been taken. But the children, their parents cannot afford it for them.
Abigail Amuzu is a teacher at Bosomodo.
The children will fetch water for us. They'll go to the Pra and fetch water, which of course is just behind the school. So they'll fetch the water and put it in these tanks for us. So this is it. So when they fetch the water and put it in this tank for us, we just put alum in it. So this is the color. After we put in the alum in it, this is the color of the water. Please, it's serious. This is the color of the water after putting the alum in it. So this is what we are using to bath, to be honest. Now, after putting the alum in it, and you think that they'll say, oh, when you put alum in it, the water will get settled. It will not get, this is the exact color. After 2 days, for allowing it to cool down.
According to her, they spend about 50 cedis on sachet water every week.
Because we use it to cook, wash, and brush. Now, we use it to rinse our things after washing, especially when you wear white thing and use this water to wash it. You can't use it to wash. So after using this settled water to wash it, you have to use pure water to rinse it so that it will become a bit clean. So we spend a lot, approximately 50 cedis a week on water.
Abigail further reveals many teachers refuse posting here due to the water challenges.
The water situation here is the reason most teachers have decided not to come. Currently, when we were coming, we were about 6. 2 got here. They decided to take us on a tour. When they told us that this is the water we are coming to use, 4 went and didn't come back again. So far, it's only the 2 of us that have decided to stay. The children too need teachers. They are good. But some of these little situations are very bad and deterring others from coming.
The Bosomto teaching staff say they strongly support banning of small-scale mining, citing its harmful impact on local water sources.
100% I support it because I am a first-hand victim suffering from the polluted water.
Munjai small-scale mining in mining system in
very pathetic. All jokes aside, see, if you are sitting somewhere and they are talking of the galamsey and you think it's not affecting you, you are just kidding. You are just kidding. See, we are all drinking from this, from cooking to washing to bathing. If you bath, you brush your teeth. So this is what they are filtering for you to do. See, let's all wake up one morning and say we are saying no to this galamsey. We are not joking. It's serious. The first day I saw this, I thought it was a joke. This is the water. This is it.
And so that's where we have to come to. So I don't know how you feel about some of these moving human interest stories, and we have them replicated across TV3, and you can always go to TV3 Ghana and then get the latest update on this. But Michael Safo Kantanka, this cannot be good, and it will mean that you support the strike action. That's what it is.
Thank you, Roland, and good morning to your viewers. I have a very interesting view on this whole galamsey and the struggle to attain some sanity in the system. 2 things. The complicit position of the people in government and the hypocrisy of the other half, the NDC. It makes me wonder if really we are going to win this fight. All right. So the government of the day is unable to crack the whip, ensure enforcement goes through, because where we are now, the real challenge is enforcement of the laws. Once there's a licensure regime, you are rest assured there's some form of regulatory body and some enforcement must be done. So once that has failed and we are where we are now, clearly it tells me some people in government are complicit, and that's why they cannot crack the whip. Now, on the part of the NDC, you see, and Ghanaians have to discern very well to be able to fully grasp the hypocritical position of the NDC in this whole struggle. And that's why I believe it's about time we shine the light on the two and then set aside this duopoly for Alan to come and fix things. In one vein, these guys are saying the government should fight galamsey and all that. Then we see videos of them assuring the galamsey perpetrators of continuity when they win power. Then we have a problem. And clearly, this is why we are not winning the fight against this, the excesses of galamsey. I don't want to call it illegal mining because then it defeats the whole point of issuing licenses. Once you give them license, then you legalize it. But now people perpetrating the excesses are doing so with a license. And so then you can't call it illegal because they have a license.
Well, doesn't it make it a system or an atmosphere where we have legitimate licenses being given, where the post-facto action of making sure you monitor and make sure mining is done sustainably being neglected?
I agree with you, but then why is this so? Again, because of the 2 reasons I listed. The complicit nature of the government of the day, the NPP, the Akufo-Addo government, and then the hypocrisy of the NDC who wants to rule without any substantive, plans to dealing with the situation. Alan has been very clear on a business model for dealing with illegal mining. And even before he gets to power, he said in 2 years he's going to get rid of galamsey and all the excesses we are seeing. And I'm sure as the conversation gets better, you will know what specific steps we are going to take to fix things.
Okay. Ms. Abdulaziz.
Roland, let me say good morning to you. Let me say good morning to my colleague and also your cherished viewers. The issue of galamsey or illegal mining is something that we have described as a threat to our very existence. And so I would resist the temptation to engage in some politics of the NDC and the NPP. No, that's not what I'll do this morning. This is a matter that affects all of us. It doesn't matter your political coloration. What we are talking about this morning is about the refusal of a government to yield to the demands of labor relative to fighting galamsey. It has got nothing to do with the NDC and the NPP. In fact, the NDC is not in power today, and that President Mahama of the NDC has no any authority to fight a galamsey. The fact still remains that, look, today as we speak, we are dealing with a matter that can wipe all of us away in a very short time. We are talking about a situation where they give birth to babies in these galamsey areas with very serious defects, deformities. In fact, we are told this morning I listened to a medical doctor who operates within that area from a galamsey area.
The enclave.
Yes, the enclave, who talks about they have seen situations where they give birth to children with their eyes on their forehead, multiple limbs, without orifices. These are issues that we must be complaining about. We are talking about a situation where about 13 of our major rivers are compromised completely. We are talking about a situation where 8 out of every kidney-related disease comes from these galamsey enclaves. And so this is not a matter for us to engage in the NDC and the NPP politics with. Today, it is a matter for labor. And the trade union or any of the labor organizations in this country is not an extension of the NDC. They have made specific demands on government. They say, one, declare a state of emergency, revoke LI 2462, and also ramp up efforts to deal with issues of illegal mining, especially around our water bodies and also our forest reserves. How difficult is this to do? Did President Akufo-Addo and the MPP promise to come and destroy our forest reserves? Did they promise to come and compromise our water bodies? Today, the Ghana Water Company is indicating that if nothing is done about our current plight, very soon we would be importing water into this country. I don't know how many people in this country can afford to get safe drinking water if we're to import it. We just listened to a clip that you just played, where the lady is talking about using sachet water to wash their clothing. It means we are itching towards a situation where we need to import water into this country. How many Ghanaians can afford that? When we talk about the issue of renal-related diseases, do you know the burden, the financial burden on individuals and homes and families? You have no idea, my brother. And so where from this NDC hypocrisy, we are saying that, look, President Mahama didn't govern this country with angels. Yes, there were some semblance of irresponsible mining. But it was not, look, as recent as November 2022, the NTU of most of our rivers, especially within the Western Enclave, was barely around 1,006. Today we are talking about 14 to 16,000 NTU. Okay. When the recommended NTU for processing water is around 50 NTU.
In relation to the turbidity level.
Exactly. These are the issues that we are talking about. We are not talking about the NDC and the NPP. The call by labor, civil society organizations, the clergy is that President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia must take clear actions to deal with the issue of galamsey. They are unable to do so because they are beneficiaries of illegal mining. Why? We've listened to very prominent members of the NPP. Dr. Afriye, a sitting member of parliament, indicate that they will not do what we want them to do. We've listened to him. We've listened to the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Educa indicate that they will not stop Galamsey now, because for them, if they do, they are going to lose elections. And they give the example of how they lost some seats along the mining areas in the last elections, when indeed you lost those seats because you seized their concessions and gave them to your party bigwigs. You banned their excavators, and that got them angry to vote against you. It's not about fighting Galamsey. No, it has got nothing to do with fighting Galamsey. What I'm saying is that President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and for that matter the MPP, will not and cannot fight Galamsey because they are deeply engaged in it. Why? DCs are engaged in it. Ministers are engaged in it. MPs are engaged in it. People at the Flagstaff House, go and read the report by the former Minister for Science and Environment, Professor Ephraim Pon-Boateng, where he talked about national executives, regional executives, constituency executives, officials at the Flagstaff House, deeply engaged in Galamsey. Didn't we hear from him how Gabi Ochidaku called him to intervene on behalf of somebody who was going through some trial? And so I don't think these guys can stop Galamsey. The only way, you are just left with some 2 months to leave office, and you want to they are telling Labour to give them time. What time? When you have only 2 months to leave office, the only way we can deal with Galamsey decisively is to vote out this MPP regime. That's the only way.
Mr. Safon Kantaka, at the end of the day, Labour is making certain demands, and we all know the key demands. And so we have to focus on that, because these are the pressing demands of Labour that will need the attention of the president as well as the rest of the executive members of the arms of government. If you take a look at the release from the Ministry of Information, they claim that they had had some discussions with Labour, they'd come to some level of truce. You speak to sources within Labour, they say that's not the case. It looks like the government that we have, headed by the president as well as the vice president, really don't intend shifting away their position or shifting from their position. If that pertains, what do you think portends for the next 12 hours for Ghana, if Labour should go on this strike?
Thank you, Roland. I would want to answer that, but then touch on a few misconceptions my brother wants to put out there. So, first of all, you need parties to form government. You see, there's this whole... The NDC is thriving on what we call glittering generalities as a form of... Please, can you allow me?
They are talking about the Galamsey.
You can write it, don't worry. Let's have a very nice...
Okay, so I asked specific question, because I think that you've apprised us of what the position is from the Movement for Change, etc. So I asked a specific question, and I'll relay the question again. What do we think could be the huge implications, either positively or negatively, with the position that organized labor has taken, and if the strike should come into effect tomorrow? I mean, that's the basic. So let's deal with it.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think the organized labor can make any difference with the current position of the NPP and then the NDC government. The NPP government and the NDC. They won't, because the truth is that the people you are asking to, President Akufo-Addo has done that before. He sent the military there only for them to get compromised, because they were bought by the cartel. The people, the Galamsey guys, were able to pay them so much that they've not earned even at peacekeeping. To the extent I have friends in the military who would prefer manning a Galamsey side to going for peacekeeping.
Your friends in the military?
Then we have a problem, I'm telling you. So that's why I struggle to come to terms with, you know, what we are asking for and what government can do or will do. They've proven, so it's so apparent that...
Why shouldn't government be in a position to do something in relation to the demands that organized labor is asking?
They are complicit. I mean, there are people that are doing it. The people who are supposed to go and defend the state, the people who are supposed to defend our territories, the people who are supposed to defend our laws are the ones perpetrating this Galamsey. And that's what I'm saying. They cannot fix this Galamsey thing. And what are we even asking for? So there's a lot of, I need to build on a certain foundation before I can make, because there's so much sensationalism going on that if you don't build the right logical foundation, people will take you out of context and really say all kinds of things. My point is, there are two regimes of galamsey mining in Ghana, the rock one, and then there's the surface, the alluvial. The alluvial is what is causing this challenge for us. Now, how do we transition into proper rock mining so that we have the full returns from gold, from our mining? That should be the focus. And that is where government cannot do now, because it calls for more capital intensive, it calls for more, resources they don't want to commit. Now, what are we asking for again? We are asking that they go and they declare a state of emergency and all. That I think the lands minister said they are going to do. Around the rivers, they are going to repeal the LI that allows for mining in the forest reserves. That's a good step. But again and again, I hate to see the NDC win a political score from this whole struggle. That should be a nationalistic one. And that's my position. And I need to emphasize on that, because I've seen some comments that suggest maybe I'm defending MPP. I'm not here to defend MPP. I'm saying they are complicit in whatever menace we are faced with. And now they are unable to do it because, in part, they themselves are the perpetrators. And secondly, there's a very mischievous and hypocritical opposition whose hands are dirty. They are doing the galamsey with them, and they turn around playing the ostrich. Then we have a problem. Let's have a very dispassionate conversation when it comes to galamsey. Let's even look at which part of the rivers are polluted, what can be done to solve this issue, and then we can move forward as a nation.
Especially with the demands of organized labor and the action they intend to take. I mean, if I have to re-ask my question or ask my question in a different way.
What can be done first is to eschew all forms of malice, hypocrisy, and then mischief around the cause. That's the first thing, because then we are able to set aside all the unnecessary exaggerations and amplification of what is not. So, for instance, yesterday I saw pictures of some river. They said it's the Densu. And my first question was, which part of the Densu? Because the Densu is just in Accra, all the way from the east part of the eastern to Accra. And I'm wondering where in this enclave they are doing galamsey. For all you know, it's the sand winning that has polluted that water. But now we see all kinds of pollutions, and our first inclination is galamsey. You go to the north where they do rock mining. They don't do this alluvial thing. So clearly, they don't wash in water. And you have the black voter, white voter muddied. And the first inclination is galamsey. Then we have to assess these things to be able to come up with, lasting solutions to solve it. I am all for solutions. And I don't think so far the NPP or the NDC, in their current architecture and manner, is able to deal with galamsey.
So ideally, what should we be doing?
We should start the sensitization. Of course, first things first. The first is to, like the red zone for water bodies, forests, it's a no-no. We have to clamp down on whoever is doing that. And that is what I'm saying they cannot do. NPP cannot do. NDC will make all the noise. They will come and they won't do it. I'm telling you for a fact. Because their people are in there doing the mines.
So what should we be doing now?
First of all, I said we need to clamp down on, mining in rivers. Because we have to.
How do we do that? How do we do that?
Jesus Christ.
Please.
Are you going to moderate?
No. Please go ahead.
We need to clamp down on whatever is going on there. Second is to engage the people, the illegal miners or whoever has a license to mine, however the license stipulates. We need to engage more. Because again, let's cast our minds back to what happened when President Akufo-Addo assumed power. the British style, going in with military helicopters, burning excavators, you know, almost to a point of shoot to kill. Those British reactions to things do not solve problems. I believe in intelligent ways of dealing with issues, and then you have a sustainable, you know, and lasting effect for everyone. We've done some of these things. I see Ghanaians asking to shoot to kill people. We are in a democratic dispensation. You don't shoot to kill people. The soldier doing that can have consequences after the actions. So please, let's deal with this issue dispassionately. Like I mentioned, let's set aside the glittering generalities. Somebody goes to take a picture of Western region somewhere, and they want to paint a picture as if the whole of Ghana is polluted. It's not it. Let's be very precise in our definitions for galamsey itself. Let's be very precise in what can be done to solve the issue. And let's be very precise on where the hotspots are, and then we can deal with it once and for all.
We have in the studio Awal Mohammed. Thank you for joining us this morning. Organized labor, so far, they haven't changed their position. It also means that they are going ahead with it. How are they being met halfway on the corridors of power?
Thank you so much, and good morning to our cherished viewers and those who have spoken. And I'm sorry to have come in late. There was a miscommunication, so I had to just quicken my pace and get here. So I'm sorry for coming in late. Yes, it's true. Organized labor is still not backing down on their strike. And even though there are some other people within the organized labor who are saying that they think that there was no further consultations. Even within UTAC, there are some from KNUST who organized a press conference 3 days ago to say that they were not contacted. They were not really, there was no consultation and so on. So I was not surprised that yesterday, Ghana Medical Association, let me take this opportunity to commend them for really withdrawing, because if they had also engaged in the strike, the consequence of that strike is more catastrophic than what is happening with the galamsey. Because these are people who save lives, and if people who save lives are supposed to go on strike because they think that the government is supposed to do something that, in their view, the government is not able to achieve that, I think it will be catastrophic, because a lot of people may die within the period that they will be on strike, and the strike does not also have a definite date. That is the reason, I'm sure, that they had to just say that they are backing out because there was no further consultations with them, and that's the reason they backed out. Organized labor has the right to do to strike if they think that something in this country is not really going on well. But I came in and I met my brother from Afofranto, espousing some views, and I think I share in his view to especially on finding a lasting solution to this, not a firefighting approach. Because if we check what we had done from 2017, when we came in, the first problem was the galamsey menace, where the media, including yourself, were campaigning that the president must find some lasting solutions to the galamsey. So by May, June, before the president was able to even finish his appointment, he had to ban all forms of mining. Not illegal mining, because illegal mining, the galamsey is still illegal. He had to ban all forms of mining in this country for 2 years. Within that period, 4,000 of these miners were sent to UMAT to be trained in responsible mining and so on. By 2019, there were clarion calls from all over, because places like Takwa, places like Akwatia, places like Manson Kwanta and other places became ghost towns because people didn't even have means of livelihood. So definitely you cannot ban mining in its entirety. So we had to start in 2019. By 2019, whilst we were fighting it, the NDC were also on the grounds fighting us, talking to the people to do the galamsey. You had Kweku Boahi, who was the then Deputy Communications Director, together with former Minerals Commission boss, Dr. Tony Ibert, on galamsey side, telling them that vote for NDC. When we come, we'll allow you to do illegal mining. So whilst we're fighting, the NDC were also fighting us. So at a point in time, we had to start the Galam Stop 1. It didn't really materialize the way we wanted. We went to Galam Stop 2. We had to do Operation Vanguard. Then we ended by doing Operation Halt, where we banned excavators in this country. The media were crying that why will you ban excavators and so on. So with all these, that is why when I am discussing this Galamsey, I think that the best thing is not for us to go and be talking about these muddy waters and so on, metal, which people even lie that there are metals in our water that we drink in Accra and so on. Because Ghana Water Company has come to say that there is no metal in any water in this country. You understand? They are those who are in charge, and they are saying that it is not only chlorine that they use to really do the water. So definitely. So when it happened, Dr. Baumia is saying, I want us to talk about solutions and not necessarily like my brother from Afrofanto. Solutions. The militant solution did not really materialize the way we wanted to. So the best thing is that if you check page 195 of our manifesto, Dr. Baumia is saying that if given the opportunity in the next 2 months, if he becomes the president of the Republic of Ghana, learning from what he has done with his boss from 2017, from the ban, from the Galam Stop, from Vanguard, from Halt, from banning excavators, the way forward to go is not the militant way. The way forward to go is for us to empower the geological survey to do prospecting. So we ban off all forms of prospecting in anywhere by any private company. The geological survey will be given the opportunity to do prospecting. After the prospecting, then within the communities that they find gold, they will make sure that they involve the chiefs and the community so that they simplify the way to get the license, so that the community will own the mines. If the community owns the mines tomorrow, if you're looking for someone who has destroyed the water bodies, you may arrest the chief or the opinion leaders, because it is within the community that you have given them the opportunity to mine. Again, we will not allow them use chamfine and some few other unconventional ways to mine. There will be a minerals development bank which will be set up, and they will bring in gold catches to be given to the communities so that we buy the gold from them. We use it for gold for oil and gold for reserve. These are the solutions that Dr. Baumia has outlined in his manifesto, in the 2024 manifesto, that if he's given the opportunity in the next 2 months as the president of the Republic of Ghana, this is the solution that he feels that it will be able to help. Because a lot of people, if you go to places like Manson Quanta, Mansour Dubia and so on, people who go there to mine on community mining basis, a lot of them are not from the place. So they wouldn't mind destroying the water bodies and so on. But Dr. Baumia is saying that we will give the community the opportunity to mine so that we create jobs over there. Then we will have to make sure that we will still protect our water bodies by sending inspectors over there to inspect what they are doing, so that we're able to really get them to do. So you don't need a military, you don't need a police officer to go chasing anyone, because
I asked
the
a
regulators
question
will
about how is government and the executive arm of government meeting organized labor halfway?
There are a series of meetings.
A day before this.
Yes, there are a series of meetings, and again, they requested for the withdrawal of the LI that stipulates that one can mine in a forest reserve. The president is taking a casual look at it, and it will be withdrawn. So, and again, the second thing is that I know that the military has been empowered to still go back there and still protect our water bodies. I believe that this strike is not the solution to this problem. Again, coming to a time where it's left with 2 months, I had wished that organized labor will sit down with the two political parties, ask former President Numa what he meant when he said that those who were incarcerated, those who were put to jail by a competent court of jurisdiction for spoiling our water bodies, he said he would give them amnesty to come back. When he met you, the media, he mentioned it. He said it on a campaign platform. When you met you in the media, when you asked him his solution to the Galamsey menace, he said he will make sure that all those who were jailed for Galamsey will be back to further destroy our water bodies, because I don't know what they are coming to do. Again, licenses of those who were seized, like Ibrahim Mahama, who went to mine in Nyinahini, that the court stopped him from mining.
He said he will give them back their licenses and so on. Then they can engage Dr. Bawumia on these policies that he has outlined. Then you see which one is the best. Then you can even inform your members that looking at the Galamsey menace, the two major political parties, these are their blueprint, and the ones that you think is the best, you ask them to do. There is no country in the world that 2 months to elections will declare a state of emergency where people will be shot and killed in a forest.
The first one that was declared, it was a state of emergency.
I'm saying that. There is nowhere in the world that 2 months to elections someone will declare state of emergency.
So right now it's going to be a free fall.
You remember? No, which free fall? I told you what
is being done now?
I said military will take charge.
Are they taking charge?
Yes, they will take charge. They are supposed to take charge because there is an interministerial committee headed by the National Security Minister, and they have outlined what they are going to do. And you're telling me that it's a free range. I didn't say it's a free range. I'm telling you that in the next 2 months. I'm asking,
is it then a free range?
I'm saying that in the next 2 months, the military will take charge.
All right.
But after
have they
2
been
months,
deployed already?
I don't have that briefing, but I know that they will be deployed between today and tomorrow.
At the end of the day, organized labor has been left to go through the process of undertaking the strike. It also means that they are not being met halfway. It looks like the position of the president and government is not changing anytime soon, in the next 12 hours, or 24 hours, so to speak.
And government position will not change. And I will just put some outright lies that I will need to react to. When you talked about government banning all forms of mining in 2018, that's not true.
2017.
That is not true. That is outright.
There was a moratorium that was placed.
So that was not a ban. I'll come to that. Now, when you talk about a ban, there's never been a ban on all forms of mining in this country, unless you can provide us with the evidence that. No, please, it's not about the host. You make that statement. So give us the evidence that there was a ban on all forms of mining.
No, you are giggling, you are doing, you said the host, please.
It's okay.
Please. And when all of them gave you the time,
you talk about Kweku Boahin and Dr. Tony Iban making some promises of we encouraging Galamsey and irresponsible mining. That is not true. Look, if you have the video, you can play it. You guys have constantly referred to that video where they were promising promising the young men around the Galamsey enclaves that if the NDC comes into power, we're going to make sure that they engage in responsible mining. Who in his right senses will go and meet youth and tell them they won't win power will let you do irresponsible mining? That's not true. You guys have peddled that falsehood for a very long time. And look, you also talked about Operation Vanguard, Galamstop. At the end of the day, what is the result from Operation Vanguard, Roland? We were in this country. That interministerial committee on illegal mining was chaired by the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology then, Professor Efrimpong Eboatin, two of us. What is the man's verdict on your fight against Galamsey? We have seen the secretary to that so-called interministerial committee on illegal mining receiving bribe on television from Galamseyers. We saw that video. We've seen it. We've seen how Professor Efrimpong Eboatin indicated that your party officials, right from national office to regional to constituency, were engaged in Galamsey. The same professor told us how they were mining even around the residence of President Akufo-Addo in Chebi. This is a man that we appointed as a minister and made him the chairman of the interministerial committee on illegal mining. Why? Your Ashanti regional chairman was engaged in an illegal mining in a forest reserve. Your minister came to confirm, Abu Jinapo came to confirm that. When somebody is engaged in an illegality, what do? You prosecute him. Have you done that? So you guys are beneficiaries of Galamsey. We have heard Duka, Emeriku Duka, a deputy minister, insist that you will not ban Galamsey today. Yes. You won't do it today, you won't do it tomorrow. We have seen Afriye, a sitting member of parliament, and the coordinator of the Bawumia campaigns in the Middle Belt, say you guys will not ban Galamsey. And so what are you talking about? You guys are beneficiaries of Galamsey. There's no way you can fight it. And look, what are you talking about? You guys are beneficiaries of Galamsey. You cannot stop it. All that was, look, and when you talk about amnesty, you see, you can, I don't blame you. Even the word review in the dictionary of the NPP means a council. So when you say that President Mahama says he will grant amnesty to people who are engaged in Galamsey, I don't blame you.
Why did he say that?
President Mahama said clearly that, look, you don't go around imprisoning those small boys who are engaged in the real activity when the real kingpins would be free. And so let's grant them amnesty and let's target the big wigs, those who own the concessions. How many of those boys can buy those heavy moving machines? They can't afford them. So somebody is obviously behind them. And these are your ministers, your MCs, and your appointees at the Flagstaff House. So President Mahama said that, look, these boys are innocent. Perhaps they just want some deliberate.
The court.
Listen to me. So somebody would have engaged them to do those activities. So let's grant them amnesty and let's go after the big fishes. That's all that President Mahama says. So if you don't understand, please don't go there. And you are talking about Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Why? He's been part of this regime. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is been part of this regime. What he said was that when he wins the power, that's what he's. The man is in power already. Whose power again? He's a vice president. He's not just some constituency executive. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been a vice president for almost 8 years. He's the chairman of the police council. In fact, there have been instances where he checked cabinets. And so the man has lost credibility. So for him to say that when he wins power, he do ABCD, the man is already in power. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So all that I'm saying is that these guys cannot fight Galamsey because they are the ultimate beneficiaries of Galamsey in this country. Okay. Why? We are talking about a situation where about eight out of all the renal cases in this country comes from these Galamsey areas. Do you know how much it costs to go and do a dialysis at Kolebu in a week?
Which report suggests that?
Oh, I mean, you have
the lies.
Our Ghana Medical Association. Ghana Medical Association have indicated that 8 out of every 10 kidney-related diseases comes from these Galamsey areas. This is what we are talking about. You go to Kolebu, dialysis, almost 600 Ghana cedis per session. If a patient needs to do that 3 times in a week, how many Ghanaians can afford that money? When you people are sick, you are able to fly yourself outside, go and treat yourself. Ghanaians are suffering because of your greed.
Okay, let me speak to Beauty Nati. Good morning, Beauty Nati, Executive Secretary, the Ghana Anti-Campaign Coalition, or Ghana Anti-Corruption Crusade. Good morning to you.
Good morning,
all right,
Mr. Roland Walker.
Okay, I do understand that your coalition does support organized labor on this. Now, as far as we're being told that the government's position is not going to change, it could have dire implications that a strike action is undertaken and then also the position of government doesn't change regarding the dire effects of illegal mining on our water bodies as well as on public health.
Roland, please, if you can kindly take the question again.
Okay, so my question is, I do understand that you support organized labor in this action. Now, at the same time, government's position is not changing on this. So where do we go from here?
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to greet your panel and also greet your listeners out there and to say thank you for the opportunity in having us. We believe that it is important for government to listen to all these stakeholders who are drawing attention to the worrying effects and the negative impact of Galamsey to Ghana's development. And we think that given the way things are going, if we don't do anything about it, the effect will be too much for the country to bear. And yesterday, our press conference drew attention to how the lack of action is going to affect the attainment of the SDGs. And if you look at all the SDG goals, almost all the SDGs goals are being impacted by these galamsey. And we also took the opportunity to remind our president, His Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, of the fact that he was a co-chair of the eminent group of Sustainable Development Goals advocates, a position that he held, which was a global position that put him at the helm of affairs in terms of seeking to ensure that we are attaining the SDGs. So it will be unfortunate if nothing is being done. Roland, as I speak, almost all the SDGs goals have been impacted. For instance, take SDG 1, which talks about zero hunger. Clearly, galamsey is contributing to food insecurity. You can see that some lands are being reduced. We are having soil infertility, and food system is being affected. It's even affecting our export commodities. Apart from what we even consume locally, recently you heard that some of our export commodities were said to have some heavy metals in them by our European markets. So what we are talking about is not even just something that anybody should take lightly. And that is why, as a platform, we don't even want this discussion to be held as a political discussion where we are talking about bringing it back to the same old MPP, MDT issue. This discussion should take a national collaboration and should bring everybody on board. Nobody can be immune from the effect of galamsey. Per what we are seeing and per what the experts are putting together, every Ghanaian should be worried and concerned that this galamsey issue is not something that Ghana can contain.
Madam Fanati, if there's something, an immediate action that needs to be done, should it be that within the interim period that we have, we should have some solution of, sending maybe security task force to make sure that we bring some sanity, or we need to accede ourselves to what the demands of organized labor, as well as even the main and the number of groupings that are also campaigning against this, including those in the media, civil society, etc., about how we need to have a state of emergency that will be introduced where we take a certain posture of redress to make sure the sector is sanitized, like we saw in 2018 and then 2019.
Roland, when you are in a state of emergency, you take actions that are urgent to curtail this menace. One, clearly, there is one thing we cannot sacrifice, our water bodies. And so far, the turbidity in our water bodies is just something that you cannot even imagine. So the immediate step that government has to take is to ensure that nobody is mining in water bodies and forest reserves. And this one shouldn't take us a discussion. Once the president gives the charge, anybody is seen around our water bodies and in the forest reserve should be seen as someone that is anti-Ghana and should be dealt in such manner as somebody who has no interest in Ghana's development, and that person should be dealt in that manner. And I don't think that should. We even have laws already that clearly says that the buffer zone policy of no mining within 100 meters of any river or water body should be enforced. This should not take us forever to do. Enforcement is important, and this can be done. It only takes commitment from government to ensure that this thing is addressed, and it's addressed now.
All right.
We don't need to be talking about this, that, we are having plans and it's ongoing and discussion. We don't have, there is no time for discussion. Action has to be taken, and it should be immediate. So we want that political will, we want that agency and steady attention to this issue.
Okay.
And that is what we are calling for.
All right. Thank you very much.
Illegal and irresponsible mining must stop, and it must stop now.
All right. Thank you very much, Butinati, who is the co-chair for the CSO platform on SDGs. Now, Mr. Safo Kantanka, at the end of the day, what immediate actions need to be taken?
Yeah. Thank you, Roland. So, as much as possible, we need to restore our water bodies. We need to restore the integrity of our forest reserves. All right. So there are a number of ways to go about this. All right. Like I said earlier, we've tried this Rambo style, but it didn't work. It has brought us back here. So it could be a hybrid. And really, the Honorable Alantra Martin has listed a number of things we can do. So in the meantime, we need to declare a ban on mining in rivers and then, forest reserves. And then, of course, repeal that LI that allows for mining in forest reserves. And then the most important thing sets in. We need to engage the people involved. Make sure we transition from the alluvial mining that is destroying our water bodies and the surface, the integrity of our lands, and now go into rock mining. And that's where you sink a shaft. How do you go about this? You need to create companies out of the young people interested in mining. Mining, interestingly, doesn't require, of course, at a certain level, it doesn't require a certain level of schooling, as in formal classes. You can learn on the job. I know people in Anglo Gold Mines who have risen to managerial positions just by learning on the job. So what we can do is, like Alan proposes, we have to create corporations with the young people who are interested in mining, get them all the equipment and trainings and whatever resources they need, including financing, and then create formal mining companies like Anglo Gold Ashanti, like Newmont, who are doing deep shaft rock mining. That essentially do away with these excesses of the surface mining we are confronted with. And I believe that is the way out. Otherwise, then we are saddled with all the nuances, the hypocritical stance, and then, all the propaganda around Galamsey, which is not the way at all. So it starts with leadership. If we are sitting on 7 gold belts, and we are here discussing the excesses of a surface mine, then frankly, Roland, we as a country need a reset. We need to begin to rethink how the leadership regime we have. Because honestly, the whole world is moving to gold now. Gold is the future. As we speak, Zambia has initiated a process with cobalt metals, which is a Bill Gates-sponsored Silicon Valley company. They use high-tech artificial intelligence to do the exploration, so that you don't have the kind of problem Ghanaians are saddled where people are looking for gold without precision to where the gold is, so they get to dig a hole here, they don't find, they move, they're polluting land and rivers. Essentially, what Alan seeks to do is to introduce sophisticated technology to help these mining companies we are going to set up to do the exploration and do the mining right within the acceptable framework. And that is the way out.
Right.
Otherwise, we are not going
So within
nowhere.
the next 2 months, what's going to happen?
So before that, let me just get to what Honorable
you have 4 minutes for
said.
this,
yes,
please.
even if it is 2 minutes, it's okay. I'll just use it too. Still, he says, giving amnesty. The former President Mahama's views on giving amnesty to people is that people were jailed, innocent people were jailed. That is why he said right now that those who were jailed are innocent people. Honorable, when you were speaking
in my presence, I will not
you
allow
said
that.
it.
I will not allow
you
that.
said that
I
those who
will
were
not
supposed
allow
to be
that.
jailed were not jailed. So what do you mean by that?
No.
What do you mean by that?
No,
Let's have a truce.
you can't lie. You can't lie on me in my presence. That's not true.
So right,
I will
right,
not allow.
right,
No,
right.
no,
I was right when you were
no.
talking.
I will not write.
Let's have a
You
truce.
have
Let's have
to
a
withdraw.
truce.
You have to withdraw that
No,
because I
let's
didn't say that.
He said he didn't
I
say
will
that.
not allow you to go on
What
that.
I heard him say is that
He said he didn't say that.
What I heard him say
He
is
said he didn't say that.
He said you don't want
I
me to
never
talk
used the
again.
word innocent.
No,
I never
it's
did.
okay. It's okay.
He said
I never
that
did.
those who were supposed to be jailed were not jailed. The small boys were jailed.
Categorically,
My friend,
categorically,
when the likes
what
of
is this?
Wontumi should be jailed, you don't go after the small fishes.
So
Former
when you
President
have your
Mahama has a penchant of giving people who were jailed amnesty to come back and further.
When Gabi and who are
What the
involved,
former president,
they are those who should go in for.
What the former president says categorically,
Why do you want to lie on the national
being
television?
his position and then the position of his party and then going to the election is that he believes that there's been an ostrich playing stance that has been put together and made by the government of the day, as well as even the whole structure, whether it's a judiciary,
1 minute of
etc.
my time. Yes.
No, please. And so insists that those who are involved in Galamsey, from those who are funding to those who tend to do the basic mining themselves, who are the menial workers or the artisanal workers themselves, if there has to be any intention and policy of prosecuting, it should be done wholesomely, not to be done haphazardly. So that's what he insists.
So you understand it better than Honorable Aziz, who is representing NDC here.
No, please.
That's okay.
So what he says is that
he'll give them amnesty.
For whoever,
That's what I want.
no, please. No, please. So what he does insist is that those who are doing the mining that we find in the forest reserves and etc. are not those who tend to do the sponsorship, those who are funding it. And so if we want to do the jailing, we have to prosecute everybody holistically. Otherwise, then you are doing it haphazardly. Please go on.
You understand it better than
whatever you want to call it. No, please, it's okay. It's okay. Please make your point.
What I understand with the amnesty is that the court of competent jurisdiction jailed some people for destroying our water bodies. Former President Mahama has said it twice that he will give them amnesty to come back. The listeners will judge what I've lied or not. That is one. Two is that he says, Prepon Boateng said that from the national executive right to the last person.
Last person?
Yes, in the party. Is engaged in Galamsey. You said, national executive.
Were you sleeping? Were you sleeping when I was speaking? Were you sleeping?
No, please, it's okay.
You quoted from Prepon Boateng. Prepon Boateng's report, the report that you quoted from, is saying that the NDC is engaged in more illegal mining than the MPP. And this was further corroborated by the Minerals Commission when they said that 1,402 licenses were given. So you allow him do this, and tomorrow if I come here, you tell me that I am interjecting.
Stop interjecting. Otherwise, when you are speaking and it's interjecting, you.
Go ahead.
The Frimpong Boateng report that you quoted, he is saying that those who do Galamsey are the NDC. It is in the report, and this is further corroborated by Minerals Commission that said that when former President Mahama was even removed from government, in 2016, he issued 361 licenses to the people. Again, we will not ban legal mining in this country. I share the views of Miraku Duka. He's in charge of, he's our spokesperson on minerals.
On minerals.
Yes. We will not ban legal mining in this country. On mining. Yes. We will not ban legal.
I think there's even a video to that effect.
We will not ban legal mining. And what my MP, Friye, said is also true, that we will not, someone who has gone.
So within the period, what will be done?
I'm telling you that. I'm coming. Someone who has gone for loan, has sunk a shaft, is doing underground mining, which has nothing to do with destroying our water bodies, will not prevent that person from mining. That will not be done. And again, no government, no sane government in the history of this world, anywhere in the world, will declare state of emergency 2 months to elections. Dr. Baumia has been
so you're not heeding to organize labor's call because we have an election.
So I'm asking Angel Kabono, if in a school you have 3 teachers out of 20 impregnate students, do you shut down the school? Do you just shut down the school? He's a teacher. I was a trained teacher. If you go to a senior high school, and in the senior high school,
how are the two situations you are painting coterminous?
Yes, what they are telling us is that because some few people are destroying our water bodies, those who are doing legal mining should be prevented from doing legal mining.
Have you seen the pictures of the water bodies?
Yes, I've seen it.
And the effects that it has on public health?
I've seen it.
It's normal.
Did I say it's normal?
But that's what you're saying.
I am telling you that the strike is not the solution to the problem, because, as I said, I gave a scenario of a classroom. If in a classroom, in a school, which has about 20 teachers, you have 3 of them impregnate students, do you shut down the school? He is a manager of a school. Do you shut down the school?
The two situations are not the same.
It's the same.
How does pregnancy affect the health?
It's the same.
The health of the school population.
It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. Maybe
you think the two are coterminous?
Yes. So there is this line.
So what would be the action taken in the next two months as part of the solution, since the position is not changing?
There's this lie being peddled, and the woman, the woman you called, I don't know her name. That's why I said the woman you called, said that there are metals in our bodies and so on. Let me just quote from Ghana Water Company. Ghana Water Company said it is not true that the water running through our taps from the Ghana Water Company is filled with heavy metals, as chlorine and alum treatment does not deal with heavy metals. The Ghana Water Company uses not just alum and chlorine, but also activated carbon, aluminum sulfate, polyelectrolyte, and other substances to ensure that our water bodies are safe for human consumption. All of the heavy metals allegedly in our water bodies, including cyanide and arsen, only mercury can be traced to gold production. Even the mercury, it is insoluble and can only be found in sediments. So it is not true that any water that we're drinking in this country, there are heavy metals in the water and so on. This is Ghana water. They have come with it. What this government is doing in the next 2 months is that there is an interministerial committee that has been set up. That interministerial committee is headed by the Minister for National Security. They have outlined what they will be able to do in the next 2 months for Dr. Baumia to take over, to continue what he has enumerated in his manifesto. One is that they will make sure that all the water bodies are being protected by the military. This is something that they will be deployed within a day or 2 to go and protect all our water bodies. Again, mining in river bodies are illegal in this country. They are illegal, and they will make sure.
Are they illegal?
They are illegal.
Then why
no one will be given the concession to mine in the water in the river body. It is not given. So this is what this government is doing. He is saying that Dr. Baumia has been in government for the last 7 years. Now, if you had listened, if you did listen to me, let me end. If you did listen to me, I said that he and his boss has started something from 2017. Are you giving me an opportunity to come so that I also come?
As a preface to the question, we had a whole forum that was organized just over the last 5 days, or just 5 days ago. It does indicate, with the latest information, Dr. Juliet Ohimen-Tiamwa, US-based environmental engineer, saying that even them in the diaspora feel the consequences of illegal mining in Ghana. And she also revealed that exported food items, including yams, etc., coming from the farming communities where we have illegal mining emerging, shows existence of heavy metals that are used in galamsey and other illegal mining, not only being found in their homes, but also in Accra, among others, and areas in the Western, Eastern, and Ashanti region. And so insist that nobody is immune. And this one was
Roland, you will help your listeners by reading the entire story, because there is no report to that effect. What she said is that she spoke to someone. The same woman said that she spoke to someone at Standard Authority.
Now listen.
Read. He should read the entire story.
Please take his mic off. Take his mic off. Now, so now that we have a position that government is not shifting away from, which is at variance with what the position for which the strike action will take place for labor tomorrow. What should be the consequential actions being taken, especially by labor and other civil society actors?
And even before I come to that, I'm sure our viewers have just seen the way our live this morning about President Mahama and how he talked about who to grant amnesty and who not to grant amnesty.
Explain that.
And now we are talking about more NDC. According to Frimpong Boateng, there are more NDC people engaged in illegal mining than MPP. It only speaks to how irresponsible and useless your government have been. If you think that NDC members are engaged in galamsey, go and arrest them and prosecute them. You are only confirming how useless you have been as a government. Because you have the mandate you were elected for to govern this country for 8 years. You are still in power, and you want to say that NDC people are engaged in galamsey more than MPP. This game should not be reduced to MPP and NDC. You are killing people in this country. Your actions and inactions are leading people to their graves. That is what we are talking about, Awal. Now, you talk about 600 licenses that were granted under President Mahama. That is 600. You said 600.
I said 2016, 361.
Awal, it's not true. For the entire period of President Mahama and President Mills, about 57 licenses were granted.
Stop the lies. Yesterday.
Listen to me. Ignore that. Ask for that man. Ignore him. Ask for that man. Ignore him.
The chief executive.
Ask for that man.
No, please. Let me say this.
Okay.
The chief executive for the Minerals Commission appears before Parliament Governance and Assurance Committee. And you're a former member of Parliament, so you know that. And of course, it's chaired by Samu Kujeto Ablakwa, and he put a figure which is a variance to what exists on the main portal, the repository.
He's a glib talker.
Okay, and then as always, the website of the Minerals Commission. So we go with the Minerals Commission figures on their site and repository, and then also add that to what the chief executive also says. Yes.
The honourable member, Honourable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, has led the revelation and has made reference to the Ghana Mining Repository, which is a state-owned website, which indicates that between 2017 up to date, about 1,507 licenses have been granted. The highest in the history of this country. If for the entire period of President Mills, President Mahama, only 57 were granted, you have granted about 1,507. That is on record. That gentleman is a public servant who is aiding the political class to encourage a galamsey. Now, Awal, look, we were in this country when the president said that he had put his presidency on the line. The line that he put on, the presidency that he put on line never existed. If you said you've put your presidency on the line, today it is very clear to everybody except you in the MPP and your allies that galamsey is worsening. Our water bodies are more polluted than they were when he put his presence on the line. And so President Akufo-Addo has failed. I am saying that the only way, Roland, the TUC and other labor unions have made very specific.
So in the next 2 months, what should we do?
They are saying that
because that's the position of government.
Roland, declare a state of emergency. Right? You just said that it's not possible to declare a state of emergency some 2 months to an election. You may have forgotten. In 2004, the people of Dagbon were under a state of emergency. In 2004, throughout the election period. So nothing prevents you. You have made your case very clear that if you stop galamsey or if you take those actions, you are going to lose the elections. Whether you do or not, you are on your way out. So you better do what is right. Look, trust me, it won't take you more than an hour to issue a letter imposing a state of emergency in those areas. Nothing would prevent you from that. Why? LI 2462. Let your minister walk back to Parliament and revoke that LI. So the man says it will be done. Yes. TUC, other labor unions, the man says it will be done. Your MP says so. A communicator for the party on national television says that they won't ban galamsey. So they don't care whether Ghanaians die or not. These guys are in to make money. They are in to make money. Their consent is the next
step into the world of Dewa 539 for your chance to win big with Dewa Direct and Dewa Chop Money. Now with Dewa Direct, *446# hash is a short code for you. So you make sure you pick the range of the numbers 1 to 39 and win big 20 times, 40 times, 400 times your stake. And win every cash that you can every evening at 7 p.m. when the draw is made, and on Sundays at 6 p.m. Now, early bets also love day one chop money. And at 10 a.m., dial *446 hash. You choose the range of the numbers again 1 to 39 and win big 20 times, 40 times, or 400 times your stake. And then, just in case you love it electronically, you can use your app or through your browser. Go to dewa-nla.com and then get the latest draws by way of the stakes that you can undertake so far. And then Mohammed Abdulaziz, former Member of Parliament from you, thank you for passing by. Michael Safo Kantanka, thank you as well. Awal Mohammed, thank you for passing through this morning. You can always share the stream, and we have an upload of this as always. For those of you who give us messages, have a couple of you as well. Thank you, Muda Nassar. And then also Kwame Osei Boateng, thank you for your messages. As it is, we're going for a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the latest sports headlines. And remember, we're north in Ghana this week for Community Manifesto. Yesterday, we came live from the Abuabo station in the Tamale Central constituency. And today, we are in another community, certainly. You love it, eh? Yes, yes. Well, certainly. So we're taking a break. We'll be right back.
Brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP, available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP will fill ya, huh? Will be feel.